The black bee is capable of piercing through solid wood, possessing a physical strength that few other insects can match. Yet this same creature meets a silent end inside the petals of a lotus. Drawn by the scent of nectar at sunset, the bee remains inside as the flower closes. Its strength is not stripped away, it simply becomes irrelevant in the face of its own attachment. The ancient strategist Chanakya used this as a warning for the human mind. He argued that human beings are not truly autonomous. Instead, he viewed our nature as porous, a vessel that takes on the qualities of its immediate surroundings. In the Chanakya Niti, he explains this vulnerability through a specific observation of how fragrance is transferred in nature. Chanakya noted that while soil will eventually absorb the fragrance of the flowers resting upon it, the flower never absorbs the odor of the soil. The transfer of character, he argued, only moves in one direction. To Chanakya, the individual is the soil, a passive recipient of external influence. He concluded that because our nature is shaped by what we touch, the person we become is a direct reflection of the company we choose to keep. The arid valleys of ancient India were as unforgiving as the political climate Chanakya navigated. In this landscape, the distance between survival and ruin was often defined by the strength of one's position. He often framed influence in terms of yields. Associating with a lion might provide a pearl from an elephant's head, while a jackal's lair offers only scraps of donkey skin. The rewards of a life are capped by the quality of the people one follows. Even when exhausted by the mundane pressures of life, Chanakya maintained that true solace is found only in the company of family or noble scholars. He believed the mind cannot recover in isolation. It requires a curated environment to rejuvenate. No thinker, no matter how great, is immune to their social setup. Chanakya acknowledged that even the most brilliant leaders are products of their era, carrying the idiosyncrasies and flaws of the society that reared them. This makes association the ultimate prerequisite for power. If the environment dictates an individual's potential, then a ruler's first act of statecraft must be the total control of their inner circle. Chanakya scaled this focus on association to the level of the state. In the Arthashastra, he moved from individual character to the mechanics of geopolitical survival. He defined the state through the Satsanga, 7 essential limbs forming a functioning kingdom: king, territory, administration, treasury, capital, army, and allies. The 7th limb, the ally, is the most volatile. If this node fails, the entire structure loses equilibrium. Chanakya's view of loyalty was devoid of sentiment. Like a swan abandoning a dry pond, allies will desert a powerless king. To Chanakya, shared purpose is the only bond that holds. Emotion is a liability. Testing an ally's integrity required a calculated system of trials. He advocated using allurements, manufactured fear, and secret agents to ensure an ally's loyalty was based on more than just temporary convenience. A ruler who cannot verify the integrity of his political circle is like a featherless bird. He possesses the office of a king, but none of the capacity to act. To predict rival powers, Chanakya developed the mandala doctrine, a geometric framework mapping the circle of states. First rule: your immediate neighbor is your natural enemy, as competition makes friction inevitable. Second rule: the state beyond that neighbor is your natural friend, creating a strategic pincer. This allows for a double policy, maintaining peace with one neighbor to focus entirely on the destruction of another. It is a system designed to turn geographic necessity into a weapon. In Chanakya's world, geopolitics is a machine. By understanding the rules of proximity and self-interest, a ruler can treat the behavior of neighboring states as a solvable equation. Chanakya applied these theories to dismantle the Nanda dynasty, a regime he viewed as fundamentally corrupt and a threat to a unified India. The dynasty was protected by Rakshasa, a chief minister whose strategic brilliance and unwavering loyalty made the Nandas nearly untouchable in open combat. The play Mudrarakshasa serves as a record of the intellectual war Chanakya waged against his rival. Rather than attacking Rakshasa's armies, Chanakya focused entirely on disrupting Rakshasa's associations. Through the use of double agents and forged messages, Chanakya sowed paranoia throughout the Nanda court. He utilized the rules of the mandala to break the bonds between Rakshasa and his allies, leaving the minister without a circle to lead. By dissolving a man's alliances, Chanakya demonstrated that power can be dismantled from the inside out, rendering even the most brilliant strategist ineffective. Rakshasa eventually found himself alone. The influence he once commanded had been neutralized, not by a sword, but by the systematic removal of his supporting environment. But instead of eliminating his defeated rival, Chanakya offered him a position within his own administration. This was a calculated move. By absorbing Rakshasa into the Mauryan inner circle, Chanakya secured the expertise needed to stabilize the new empire under Chandragupta Maurya. This strategic integration created a unified state that could produce the wealth and military security necessary for long-term survival. The history of the Mauryan Empire illustrates Chanakya's primary lesson. The scope of an individual's power is defined by the integrity of the circle they construct. But as Chanakya knew, every alliance has a limit. What happens when the external world is secured and a leader is finally forced to face the one enemy that cannot be outmaneuvered?